what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews. You can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I'll be posting an album review of Rome, their new album, Knuckle Puff's new record, Stick to Your Guns' new record, as well as this one that I'm doing a review of, and also Cold Rains I just posted as well last night. So definitely check those out. And we got a bunch of other stuff, live concerts, or live video from concerts, and interviews as per usual. So if you like any of those things that you heard, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit that thumbs up. It really does go a long way, and thank you guys for your support. So tonight we're gonna be talking about Bilmuri's new record, Banana. So for those of you who haven't heard of this band, Bilmuri is the side project of Johnny Frank of X Attack Attack. He's released a few records. Letters was released last year, and then I think Frame was released this year. And then he followed it up with this record. He's been releasing like singles, stuff like that. He's also done side project The March Ahead, which is more electronic based, but I feel like they're kind of merging in this record, which again I'll go through each track in a minute. But definitely check out Bilmuri's stuff. Johnny Frank is a musical genius. I love his stuff. I would say that it's definitely a different direction for him. It's less auto-tune and more kind of rock stuff, but I definitely feel like he switched it up in this track. So I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it. I'm going to go through some pros and cons on the record, and then I'm going to round it out with an overall rating. So the first track is called Feel. This one is one of my favorites. That intro at the beginning, if you listen to this track already, you know what I'm talking about. It's this interesting sort of thing. I don't want to spoil it for you, so I definitely recommend checking this one out. But definitely after that, it kicks right in. Really kind of high energy at the beginning of the track. There's definitely a strong electronic feeling to it. I won't even just say in this song in particular, just the whole album in general. It definitely has that stronger electronic vibe to it, much like his other side project, The March Ahead, which I talked about in a minute ago. The chorus is super catchy in my opinion, and I like the back and forth between the screams and the cleans in the bridge. I thought that was a really cool kind of mix up and kind of a different sort of change in comparison to the song and how it went about. I also feel like this track has some really great energy, and I like the interesting mix of sound in this one. I know that in previous tracks he had included a little bit more like indie sort of stuff, more like sort of alternative based stuff in the last record, Frame, and this one kind of goes in that sort of direction a little bit, but also kind of goes with more sort of electronic stuff from The March Ahead. So I like that he's combining sort of aspects of both of his bands that he's in, and just kind of coming up with a new sort of sound. So I definitely appreciate that. So we're going to move into track number 2, which is Dank. This one is also a favorite of mine as well. I'm liking this sort of exotic styling of this track. There's some like bongos, some sort of like exotic sort of sound, like musical instruments in this, which I thought was really cool. Again, I'm loving the merge of The March Ahead and Bilmuri. I feel like is going in a really great direction, a direction that I personally like, because it's just something that's unique and something different that you don't really hear too much of. So I definitely appreciate that. The electronics definitely remind me a little bit of 3005 from Childish Gambino, and also a little bit of Shape of You from Ed Sheeran. Definitely got those sorts of song vibes in this one in particular. I like that Johnny uses more of his low to like mid-range vocals. I really feel like he excels in that sort of range, but I also do like when he goes into that sort of higher register. Even some falsettos would have been really cool in this track in my opinion. The chorus is definitely solid, and I like that he snuck in a little bit of a breakdown in there to kind of appease the sort of heavy vibes that were in previous albums. I like that he's still incorporating that sort of heavy element to it as well. While it might not be a track that's really heavy, I like the addition of that. So we're gonna move into track number 3, which is Wave. This one definitely has more of an indie rock vibe to it, much like I feel like Letters and maybe a little bit of Frame. Actually, probably more like Frame. It definitely feels like probably like even like maybe a B-side sort of track off that one. I'm liking the cool sort of vocal effects and stylings in the chorus. I thought it adds a little bit of diversity to this track, in my opinion. I feel like this one is kind of basic. It's very cut and dry, and it doesn't have anything bad necessarily to it, but it definitely doesn't have something that made me be interested in this one. It just doesn't have something that grabs my attention. Just musically, I listened to this probably, maybe around 10 times, and it definitely didn't pull me in like, Feel or Dank or even tracks I'll be talking about in a minute. It definitely lacks that sort of punch to it, in my opinion. So we're gonna move into track number 4, which is Cold. This is kind of like an interlude. It's about a minute long. It's really interesting, and I really feel like it's hard to explain in words. I feel like it's really cool, has this sort of ethereal, like ambient feeling. The vocals have this really sort of interesting effect to it, but it's definitely one to listen to, and it was kind of threw me for a loop, but I definitely liked it a lot. So we're going to move into track number 5, which is New. This one happens to be a favorite of mine as well. I'm liking the homage to Crash Bandicoot, a really great game on the PlayStation. Definitely you could tell those vibes, and if you didn't know who that was, now you do know. But I feel like this track definitely combines the best elements of what's going on with this record in particular, and just I feel like they've blended. I would say that Johnny blended the best of his electronics and the best of his sort of alternative rock sound in this sort of cohesive track. I feel like this one just works out the best. The chorus definitely feels like the focal point of this record, in my opinion, or in this track, I mean. And it's definitely a little bit heavier in the bridge, which, again, was a nice little change of pace, much like in Dank. I definitely appreciate that sort of change up. Because for me, I definitely enjoy the sort of heavier side of Bilmuri, but I also enjoy the sort of electronic elements of the March Ahead, so I feel like it combines the best of that and just makes into a really unique sound, like I mentioned previously. So we're going to move into track number 6, which is Aqua. I hope this is a reference to Kingdom Hearts. I don't know. Johnny, maybe you'll answer me, who knows. But I definitely feel like this one is a favorite of mine as well. Really liking the cool sort of pitched vocals in the intro. I thought that was really interesting, and I just like that in combination with the sort of electronics in this one. The main melody definitely reminds me a lot of Everyone Wants to Rule the World and kind of any sort of 1975 track. But regardless, I feel like it sounds really good. It's definitely a really vibey track, in my opinion. Johnny definitely channeled his inner 1975, which is really cool. I definitely feel like this one has more of an electronic focus to it, much like a lot. I would say much not like a lot of the other tracks off this record. While they do have electronic sort of pieces into it, I felt like this one definitely was centered around it, and I feel like the instrumentation that Johnny was able to incorporate it just works with the song very well. It's really vibey and super catchy, in my opinion. So we're gonna move into track number 7, which is Optimal. This one is one of my favorites as well. This one has a sort of Polyphia sort of vibe to it, definitely inspired by Polyphia, especially in the intro and the sort of riffy sort of guitar parts, but this one absolutely goes in. I would say that this one is probably the best track off the record, without a doubt, hands down. Really liking the sort of catchiness and melodic characteristics of this track. It's definitely an ear catcher, in my opinion, one that I will find myself going back to much after this album review. Really enjoyed Johnny's gritty vocals as well. I feel like they add a nice cut to the track as well. It just manifests itself in the best way possible, especially the sort of um, in the chorus especially. And I also like how it blends, his vocals blend very well with the sort of electronic focus parts. I feel like it just messes really well with that, but also kind of cuts through. So I feel like in that regard, really enjoy that, and that's what I liked about Optimal. So we're gonna get into the last track, which is track number 8, called Warmth. This one is also a favorite too. Really liking the homage to Crash Bandicoot, which is so cool in my opinion. It's definitely nostalgia for me, just growing up in that sort of time period, and just Nintendo in general. But that is for another day. Really liking the electronics on this track, and just this record in general. I feel like it complements the music aspect of it, as well as just adding a nice unique layer to the album. It's definitely something that I was kind of expecting. I mean, not knowing anything that Banana was coming out, but I definitely feel like it was kind of in that direction that he was going into, especially with the last record, Frame. I feel like he was going kind of into that more softer direction, so I do appreciate the addition of electronics. I feel like he's always been doing a really good job of that, and just works well with the writing style in this one, and just offers this sort of unique appeal to me, and just was one of those things that was just ear catching to me, and really has that really great repeat value too. Definitely my favorite Bilmuri record to date. I feel like he really stepped up his game in terms of just being creative and being experimental. I know a lot of people might not like this. They were expecting maybe another heavier record. But to me, I really enjoyed it. Also, I feel like it's a great closer track. I feel like it summarizes, what Banana is and kind of the sounds that you'll be getting from Banana. So, some pros and cons. Some pros, I like the creativity. I like the experimentation. Vocally, there isn't too much to go in and on about, because I feel like vocally he was really solid. There isn't something vocally crazy that I was like, oh shit, that's really cool. But nonetheless, I feel like it complements the music very well. Stylistically, I feel like there's anything from sort of indie rock to like electronic, kind of almost top 40-ish sort of sounds, and some really interesting sort of unique vibes in this record, in my opinion. Some cons, I feel like it was maybe missing a heavier track. That would have been really cool. I know that there are some heavy moments throughout the tracks, but I definitely would have appreciated a bit of a heavier track on this record, and I feel like it would be really hard to beat, in my opinion. Also, I feel like some of the tracks just didn't hit home as much as they should, but that is few and far between. I feel like, he definitely stepped up his game. He definitely did something different, and I appreciate the, going out on a limb and being kind of, let's just do it. So definitely like this record a lot, as if you couldn't tell already. So my overall rating for Bilmuri's Banana, I'm going to be giving it 9.5 bananas out of 10 bananas. That was a joke. Probably shouldn't have said that, but it was a terrible joke. But anyway, it's a 9.5 out of 10. Definitely go check this record out. Go check out Bilmuri's stuff. More specifically, go check out Johnny's stuff. I'm so glad he's still making music. Definitely one of those bands that I go back to, and a lot of people I would say go back to too. So definitely appreciate him for continuing to do this stuff. It's really cool, and I'm liking the sort of different vibes that he's been bringing throughout the different records, and I'm excited to see what 2018 has for Bilmuri as well. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Did you like Bilmuri? Did you like this record? Did you dislike it? Let me know. Let me know your favorite tracks too, off the record. That'd be amazing. And if you like what I heard, if you like my review, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. It really does go a long way. If you like this review a lot, definitely give it a share to Johnny. I probably will share it anyway, but if you'd like to, definitely go do that too. So thank you guys for watching. My name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, If you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.